you want a bite?
I'm on a diet, but thank you.
You're kidding, right? You look great. Very fit.
You can always be thinner. Look better.
Welcome to the Mikey Likes You podcast. I'm the Mikey who likes. You are you who is liked. It's a very good system. If you're looking for more detailed help, more intense help on your quest to have a better looking body, a better feeling body, I'm not an expert in a lot of stuff, but I can help you. I like to remove all the decision fatigue. I like to remove the overwhelming level of not necessarily useless information, but information that isn't going to really move the needle. I like to just isolate the stuff that I know is going to help you along the way. And it's doable. It takes effort. It takes some discipline. But it helps a lot to have someone help you. So look in the show notes below and I can help you out, or check the link in my profile. All right. So speaking of stuff that moves the needle and erasing a lot of the riffraff that doesn't really mean much, and I was talking about it with Mr. Brendan Schaub on the most recent Fighter and the Kid. I was lucky enough to fill in for Mr. Brian Callen. And I was talking about how when I made the decision that I really wanted to try to get in good shape, it was 2001-ish, and I was not very savvy with the internet. So what do I do? I started reading Flex Magazine and Muscular Development, and I realized that was limiting. And I started going to the library. I started going to the bookstore. I started ordering books and buying books in person. I know that sounds crazy to you kids. I would pay at the counter for a book and music. And that book would lead to another. But my kind of lane of information was very narrow, and it helped me kind of ascend through it. And now I think you're so overwhelmed, you're awash in a sea of information, even if you're not necessarily looking for it. Information's coming your way and you're just deluged with it, and therefore you get overwhelmed. And that's very understandable. I find myself that way in a lot of arenas in life. So when working with you or even talking to you about health and fitness, changing your physique, I always like to try to narrow that lane, because there's stuff that may be useful, it may work, supplements, training programs, diets, diet hacks, whatever, but they're outside of that lane. I want to keep it to the lane that I'd love to have conversations of that stuff outside of the lane or in other lanes, but I know this lane is working. This isn't open for debate. If I just relegate everything to the objective, yes, this works, and it's going to move the needle pretty considerably, these are the things that are going to help you continue to climb throughout, regardless of that deluge of information. Now, you start to get to be really lean or really muscular, then you can start opening up your eyes and maybe taking into consideration some of that stuff outside of that lane. I certainly do. But that's farther down the line. If you really want to make the difference, whether you're advanced or if you're an abject beginner, you really got to just kind of clear out the noise and focus on the stuff that's really going to impact you, whether it be dietary, training, or habits. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. Look at it this way. I hear a lot of people in the fitness and physique changing world, they talk about, you don't have to give up your favorite foods. You can eat this and you can still do this and you can still do blah, blah, blah. You don't have to spend hours in the gym and you can get your results. That's totally true. That's totally true. You can have the body you want without giving up the foods you love. That is 100% true. I can't. What do I mean by that? When I was 20% body fat and I wanted to have a body that I was really proud to take my shirt off, I just had to regulate my calories to a very responsible level, up my protein, and train with consistency and discipline in the weight room. And I did that. And now I hover around, at 46 years old, I hover around 11%, 12% body fat. I'm fine with that. But when I make the decision, I want to be 7% body fat, I can't just still eat the foods I love. Cheat day. I can just do 45 minutes in the gym 3 times a week. That is very useful. I do it now to maintain my body. If I want to have the body of my dreams, I can't still eat the foods I love. I can't train in a way that's very manageable within your normal schedule. But you can. And I'm not saying you're a fat loser, but if you're watching this and you're interested in changing yourself, you can do that and it will be super useful and you will be life-changing It will be life-changing, the results you get from upping your protein, finding out exactly how many calories you need, and then maintaining that or a slight deficit, and then training consistently 2-3 days a week and making progressive overload. And do that for a long time. You will get what you want. And that includes still eating pizza, still having a couple beers, still blah, blah, blah. That absolutely does. So a lot of those, what are perceived to be snake oil salesmen, they are telling the truth to an extent. The answer to everything, and I've come to realize this is opinion because I'm not an expert in much, but I know it's true in fitness and in health and fitness and kind of physiology and nutrition and all that stuff. And I believe it's pretty true in other categories, pretty much all of them. And that is the only real answer is it depends. 2 + 2 = 4 is objective, but that's like this much of the world. Like there's certain scientific mathematical stuff that's objective. It's not open for debate. That's the way it is. Okay. But that's not very many things in the human experience in our lives. And the reality is like, should I cut carbs to make a difference in my body fat? Well, it depends. Should I lift really, really heavy weights for low reps, or should I be trying to go most sarcoplasmic, pump stuff, higher volume training? It depends. I shouldn't, there's nothing inside me, intellectually or emotionally, that goes no, or yes, absolutely. It kind of depends. What's your experience with weight training? How far along are you? How much muscle do you carry versus how much body fat do you have? I mean, really, we shouldn't be focusing on anything with exhibit A because they're really fat. And I don't want to, we don't even need to worry about sarcoplasmic this and that. It's like, let's get them moving a little bit and find a caloric deficit, up the protein. If you're like, you've been training a long time and you're really smart and you're really advanced and now you want to get shred city, we can explore a lot of different things. Carb cycling, blah, 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 and like where you're really fine tuned on how much everything weighs and all that stuff. And maybe you work as a personal trainer or you work as an influencer as opposed to someone who's an accountant and also has 2 kids, like it depends. That's the answer. That's the only right answer. So when you see, one thing I will say when it comes to, I don't want to be that guy who's shit talking about other people, but when you encounter these people online or in a seminar or something, or maybe they're just a friend of yours and they're saying, this is the right answer, this is the wrong answer, trust me, I know what I'm talking about. They're full of shit or they're assholes. They're misguided or they're fucking assholes. Because I will tell you, and I will gather up a slew of people who are very advanced in the world of health and fitness. The only real answer that's totally true all the time is it depends. Or maybe. Let's examine this further and we can come to a better conclusion. Okay? Here's one of those things that isn't really debatable, and that is people need to focus more on diet and less on training. I'm not saying training isn't important, but training makes you stronger. Training makes you more physically capable in many arenas. Diet's the only thing that's making it visible. Because if your diet is not already very fine-tuned, you're not going to be making noticeable differences in the way you look. You may get bigger, you young guys who are like, oh, I'm linebacker in my football team and I'm good. I'm going into my senior year. I just want to put on 30 pounds. You can do that without really worrying much about your diet. Just eat a bunch, lift. But that's not most people. Most people are willing to take the time and to sacrifice eating certain foods and not eating others, and then go to the gym and make a point to do it and train hard. They're doing it for one reason alone. They want to look better. And that's totally okay. That's totally freaking okay. Training makes you more physically capable. Diet makes it visible. All right? If you're looking for more in-depth help, I'd love to do it. Check out my training program at Train Heroic, and also in the links to my profile or to this video, there is my Patreon where I can work with you like really in-depth and really in a thorough fashion. So love you, and I mean it, and take it easy.